You can now subscribe to Stravacraft coffee and save 20% off every single time and never have to worry about ordering it because they'll send it straight to your door at any interval of your choice. Make sure you check out Stravacraft coffee, rich, tasty CBD infused coffee. It's great stuff. If you want to just have a single cup, you can come on down to the DNVR bar, try out our Stravacraft coffee CBD infused cold brew. It is all the rage within the DNVR staff and really anyone that's come down to the bar and try it out. Or, of course, you can get a bag sent to you for 20% off or K-Cups for your Keurig. 20% off when you use the code DNVR20. So make sure you check out Stravacraft Coffee and consider subscribing today.
Broncos country is sitting in the south stands, drinking the Coors from Mile High, the best part of the weekend. Hugging a perfect stranger as they become a friend, having a good time when the orange and blue WIN. Tuning in every day with the good folks down at DNVR.
Welcome in to the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by MSU Denver Online. They'll put a rigorous and affordable education at your fingertips. They'll show you professors that bring the real world into the classroom. Check out msudenver.edu/online to scope out all they have to offer. 750 programs, 40 plus hybrid programs. Just really worth your time. If you have any interest in online education, make sure you check out msudenver.edu/online. Oh, muted! We got him, Mace. We got him.
God.
Let's go.
Muted myself, but my boys.
Now that you've muted yourself, we're through the looking glass here. Maybe we can retire this.
Oh, I love it. I loved Ryan getting at me.
You want to start again there, Zach?
My boys, what's up? Day 10 of training camp coming to you live from here. And, we talked about the Broncos sending out something for the backdrop here. And instead, I think they just decided to fly some planes over.
Interesting. Maybe we can shift your camp. Are they like leaving messages like muted?
Oh, probably. Yeah. Just for Mace.
I should be leaving it for you today.
It's true. All right, Zach. Big training camp practice today. I just based off what I saw on Twitter, it looks like today's practice was a lot more exciting than the practice I attended yesterday.
It was. The pads were back on, and it was so exciting. In fact, Vic Fangio almost opened up the practice to be live during a couple periods because he loved the energy going on at practice, and there was great energy. The energy was perfect because it got to the point where you're having Graham Glasgow kind of going over, holding some players off from each other, but nothing escalating from there, hooting and hollering from the defense, same going on the offensive side of the ball. And Vic was so close to just making the practice live full go because it was so good, but he held back.
How do you know this? Did he tell you that after practice?
I read his mind. Yeah, no, he told us after practice.
So that's, first of all, I think the big thing here is yesterday, Vic Fangio said, hey, look, if we are come out of, what we do tomorrow is going to be based on how we come out of today. And obviously no one was hurt yesterday because they didn't do anything. So it's nice to hear, though, that, he felt confident enough to go with a legitimate practice today. And then also the fact that he even considered going live during the practice tells you he's feeling a lot better about, the overall health of the team.
Yeah. Now, the funny part about that was everyone that missed practice yesterday missed practice today. So people didn't get healthier. But like you said, Ryan, no one got hurt from that glorified walkthrough yesterday.
And what we're seeing now, he talked about this after practice, some of those guys are expected back now, not KJ Hamler, Micah Ojemudia, but he said there's a good chance Tim Patrick is back Thursday, a good chance Devontae Bosby is back on Thursday, and it's 50-50 for Mike Purcell. So maybe having those guys back, of course, they're all key guys, either on the first team or on the second team, depending on where you've got Devontae Bosby and what package you're looking at. Maybe that plus the off day tomorrow does lead to getting some live action on Thursday. Maybe that'll give him the confidence to do that.
Yeah, and the thing about this practice was Vic Fangio told the defense that they were going to have a normal practice today. Didn't tell the offense, though, until just near the end of practice. The defense came out, dominated the beginning of practice. A lot of runs. Defense was blowing them up. Alexander Johnson blowing up runs left and right. And the offense was just out of sync. And you know what? Every day I've been at practice, it was because of the pass rush that dominated. Today, the pass rush was fine. The pass rush was normal, but it wasn't the pass rush that exploded the offense. The offense just was off. When Drew Lock was making good passes, his receivers were dropping them. When Drew Lock wasn't making good passes, his receivers weren't able to make the difficult catch. So they were just off throughout the entirety of practice until the very end, when they were able to bounce back in some red zone work. You had Drew Lock make a beautiful play to Jeudy, and then another good throw to Judy late in practice as well. Jake Butt making a catch there in the red zone as well. And Jeudy, guys, this was a very interesting day for him. He started practice trending down. I mean, he was going to be in the first trending down topic that we have on the DNVR.com when we do these observations, but he bounced back nicely. He had 2 drops to start practice, which I haven't seen him drop a pass yet. So I was surprised to see back-to-back drops. And in there was a catch by him. Drew went right back to him, which I love to see his quarterback have confidence in him to go right back to him. And then later throughout practice, he came back with a beautiful 40-yard catch downfield near the sideline. He could not see where the ball was coming because he had great coverage by Bryce Callahan on him, but still was able to make a difficult catch. And then the play of the day came with Drew Lock scrambling, not because of pressure, but he was just scrambling to the left in that red zone period. Jeudy, feet planted, a millimeter before the sideline. Drew throws a laser. Judy makes a fantastic catch over the sideline, gets both feet in, secures the ball, and the momentum of the ball just carried him out of bounds and onto the ground. But it was a touchdown. It was a fantastic play. So love to see the rookie bounce back after a rough start.
No margin for error, but no defense for a play like that. If what you're talking about with the ball placement for Drew Lock getting the ball outside and Judy being near the sideline like that, that is something where you could have him properly covered. The defense could do everything right, and it's still going to be 6. That's a huge sign. That's one of the things that's going to make that combination dangerous.
How many yards out was that play from, Zach?
It was started from the 4-yard line, but where Drew was running, he was at the 12 when he threw it.
Going to the right?
Going to the left. So Drew was going across his body. So really, really good throw. And there actually wasn't tight coverage on Judy, so it didn't need to be a difficult throw. It didn't need to be a difficult catch. But like you said, Mace, if there was perfect coverage, a perfect throw would have beat that.
And the other thing, you talk about the drops and then he has these big plays. This has been the arc of Courtland Sutton at some practices this year as well. Early drop, kind of get that out of his system, and then he responds to big plays. And the reason why I think it's really cool that we're emphasizing Jeudy bouncing back here is we've seen just about everything else from Jeudy over the first 10 days of camp. But we haven't seen him react to adversity, react to a mistake, and how he compartmentalizes it and puts it behind him. I'm not saying it completes the picture for Jeudy just yet, but the fact that he's able to put a mistake behind him, that's just another check mark on the long and growing list of attributes that are going to make him a terrific pro wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely. I think certain guys, it doesn't even register for them necessarily when they have a bad play. It's a constant reset every play. And the best guys have that, especially from the quarterback position. But you can go through any position. The best guys are able to take a good play, reset, go back and do it again. Take a bad play, reset, go back and do it again. And time will tell if Jeudy is totally that type of guy. But just the way that he attacks the game of football and his mindset towards the game of football gives me a good feeling that might be the type of guy he is. He's, we've talked a lot about Jeudy. I don't know if we've talked enough or at all about how this man lives, breathes, eats, sleeps football. That, this is his life. He talks about it. He's talked about it. And even if you just, follow him on social media, you see any of the stuff that he's posting, that's what he's about. He is, working when the Broncos have off days. He's talking about football. This is one of the reasons why, we were so high on him in the draft, is like, not only does he have all the skills, not only is he already a refined route runner, he's one of those guys who is all about football.
Yeah, and he was asked what he likes to do when he's not playing football on a recent YouTube video he had, and he said, all I do is football. There's nothing else. And Ryan, you kind of detailed some of the things. And when he's not doing football, like we've seen from some of his Instagram stories, he's like just dancing in his house. He's unboxing clothes that he bought. It's the most innocent stuff, and it's things that you love to see from a young guy.
What more do you need other than sports? I mean, come on. You've got that. Everything else is just details, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why life is so good now. We got so many sports.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. Zach, what else do we need to know from today's practice?
Guys, this was a screen practice like no other. They were doing screen after screen after screen, and 2 running backs, but running backs lined up as wide receivers. I mean, it was play after play, and I don't know if it's because of that, but the defense was blowing them up pretty easy, and I guess when you know a screen's coming, it's easy to do that. So it definitely benefited the defense with them doing that, but you're seeing a lot of Phillip Lindsay in those screens, which is exciting because, man, he caught one of them and there was a tiny hole and he shot out of a cannon. Now, I think he actually would have been tripped up, so it wouldn't have been a huge play, but it's exciting to get Phillip Lindsay the ball in so much space with blockers.
Now, we've seen Phil involved in the screen game and passes in the flat, swing passes, etc. throughout camp. But what I'd like to know is, you talk about the defense blowing it up. Which players were doing the most destruction on the defensive side to this screen game?
Well, especially on the outside, you had Kareem Jackson and you had AJ Boye. And of course, Kareem's going to be a guy that's flying there. He was reading the screens really well. So no surprise, it was Kareem.
He is such a wrecking ball. Like, that's just the perfect word for him. For me, it's like when he's out there and he's active on defense, he's an absolute wrecking ball, whether it's a run play, a pass play, a screen play. He's so fast and compact that he just gets in there like a wrecking ball and just blows things up. Even if he's not the one making the play, he's blowing some blockers out of the way or whatever it is.
And before the very first play of practice, before I even noticed him doing that today, I looked at him, even just compared to Justin Simmons, and I thought, man, Kareem is tiny. I mean, he is not big. And the fact that he plays so fearless and like he's just shot out of a cannon is pretty incredible.
Yeah, he's awesome. So you mentioned screens, and I find it interesting that they would, I don't know, maybe you guys have a better idea. Why would you go screen after screen after screen after screen when the whole point of a screen is to catch the defense off guard?
Well, the funny thing with that is something else the Broncos did multiple times today was the same type of trick play. Now, I can't really detail what exactly the trick play was, but they did that not once, but twice in the practice, the exact same one. It didn't work either time. So maybe that's something we see this season, is that they'll try a trick play in 2 minutes left in the second quarter. And then so the defense will say, okay, we've seen their trick play, so we're not going to see it again. And then you run it again in the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. And I actually kind of like the idea there. Although I hope it's not this exact trick play, because like I said, it didn't work either time, and it wasn't very close either time.
Tight end around.
Yes, let's clarify this. This was not the tight end around, was it?
No, it was not a tight end end around. I give that away. It was a much more juicy one.
Okay, yeah. If that had been the case, I think we would have had to talk about Pat Shurmur's job security right away.
A couple things here. So you talked about Phillip Lindsay being used in the screen game and that sort of thing. I wonder if Pat Shurmur is finally the Broncos offensive coordinator that can get Phillip Lindsay in open space, because this will be his third offensive coordinator in 3 seasons as a Bronco. And his first season, I think they actually did a better job of getting him out into open space, but I've always felt like they could do a better job of just getting him in the clear where he can make a move, run past the guy and make a big play. And when you talk about getting him screens and stuff like that, it makes me feel confident in Pat Shurmur that he knows what he has in Phillip Lindsay. He knows how to get him in those situations.
Well, and maybe that's exactly, we start seeing these roles develop between Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, where Melvin's the route runner of the two and the one making the super contested catches like I saw him do last practice, where it was just a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch in the end zone with tight coverage. But then with Phillip, you don't have him do that stuff because that's what Melvin specializes in. With Phillip, you get him the ball where it's an easy pass to catch. That's all he has to worry about. He doesn't have to worry about coverage and running the right route and counting 7 yards down. He gets the ball, and then he gets to do what he does best, and that's make people miss. That would make sense. Instead of having Melvin be the pass catcher, like it's easy to say, okay, Melvin's gonna catch the ball, Phil's gonna run the ball, Melvin's gonna get the ball on third down and in the red zone. That's too simple. We know that it's not going to break down just like that. But I could see these roles being defined roles.
I like that. And then another one, we have a question coming in here from Juan Pablo, is that it seems like Drew threw a lot of dangerous balls today that were almost picks. Was that true, Zach?
Yeah, that was true, and that's one thing that I did not like to see. It was the first day. I mean, yesterday when we were giving grades out to Drew, I was preaching just how he has not made very many bad decisions. And today, there were quite a few bad decisions. I believe one interception on the day for Drew, two other ones that were nearly picked at that 4-yard line right before Drew threw the touchdown to Jeudy. He threw one and it hit Justin Simmons' hands. It would have been a very tough catch for Justin, but still, Justin wouldn't have just picked it. He would have taken it 96 yards the other way. You can't have those, obviously, in a game. And Duke Dawson, I believe, had a ball go right through his hands. He jumped a route really well. Should have been another pick as well. And then there was a pick in 7-on-7 where him and Deontay Spencer were on a different page. So Drew threw the ball to the left of him. Deontay went to the right, and the ball bounced off Deontay's hands for a pick there. Hard to tell who that was on. So not the best decision-making day from Drew. And really, Drew only connected with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. And so that's something that maybe Drew says, well, I threw to these other guys, and they didn't get it done, so I'm just going to feed my 1 and 2.
Fine by me. How about an offensive line update, Zach? Who was getting the reps, where, and how's that kind of competition shaping up?
Lloyd Cushenberry got all of the reps with the first team line today, and he looked good. He looked solid. Like I said, the offensive line is the
Get
best.
Out the Sharpie.
The offensive line was the best that I've seen today, and Ryan, it really, really feels like that. There may be some still playing some Schlottman in there. Patrick Morris, we'll see if he gets any reps. If he doesn't get any reps in the next couple of days, I think he's out of the equation. After practice, Vic said he likes what he's seen after from what he's seen from Cushenberry so far, and that eventually he will be the guy. It's just a matter of if he can do that now. Well, he's saying he's also likes what he's doing now, so it's going to happen. He's going to be your opening day starter. I just hope that why continue to give reps to someone else if he's the guy?
And especially with Cushenberry, he's going to get better the more he's out there. You're going to get past those jitters, those first few games mistakes earlier if you just go ahead, rip off the bandage, and get him out there. And as for Patrick Morris, I don't know if we're going to see him on the first team again after the way he got dressed down by Fangio and the other coaches a couple of days back when he shoved McTelvin Agim to the ground unnecessarily in practice. I think he is decidedly on the outs at this point, even to make a roster spot, because you figure Austin Schlottman is going to be the one of the first interior backups, if not the first guy in on the interior.
And I forgot to mention yesterday that he had 2 bad snaps. One was with the twos, snapped it right over the quarterback's head, and then they had an exchange issue that, you never know with those, but based on the body language, I thought it looked like it was probably Patrick Morris's fault yesterday.
Yeah, you have to figure that right now the interior backups, the top two guys, even though Netani Muti is on the third team, he's making the roster. That the interior backups, the first two guys are going to be Schlotman and Muti, and I don't know if there's a spot for Patrick Mahomes on the fifth or Patrick Morris. Which one's about Patrick Mahomes?
Could you imagine
Patrick Morris on the 53?
Could you imagine if the Chiefs have to say that sentence this year?
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Sorry, we only got to keep 53. It's not a fit. Zach, please tell me that DeMar Dotson got first team reps at right tackle.
You know what? No, he didn't. He didn't get any reps with the first team. It was Elijah Wilkinson, number 68 out there. You had a rotation with the second team. You had Calvin Anderson, Jake Rogers, and I do believe that DeMar got a series with them. So maybe working his way up slowly, but there's no move in Elijah Wilkinson from right tackle right now.
Unless you're a defensive lineman.
Right. Well, then I just think you're going around him.
Oh man, I hope they have a plan here. And if it's Elijah Wilkinson, I hope that he's able to take a leap forward this year and play better than he did last year. But man, we are 20 days away from the Broncos' first game. We are, that means we're 13 days away from game week. Eventually, if it's gonna happen for DeMar Dotson in week 1, it's got to happen very soon.
Yeah, it would happen very soon, because you have to imagine they're not going to go throughout all of training camp not playing him with ones, and then that Monday comes around before a week before your game, and they say, all right, DeMar, you're the guy now. Ryan, I agree. If we're not talking about him taking over or getting some first-team reps in 1 week from now, it's not going to be his job.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that they have to give him the job right now, but he just has to rep with the one. You got to make it a competition at some point, and we have no indications at this point that it's going to be a competition. So, a lot of times like in golf, they say Saturday is moving day for the players. Usually moving day for players like this is in the preseason. That's not coming this year. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to scrimmage, and that's when, they're going to have a chance to make a move in some of these competitions like the right tackle competition, but it's probably got to start being a competition next week, or maybe even starting on Thursday, but at the most starting on Monday. It has to look like a competition, or I'm going to say there's no way that Dotson is starting week 1. You agree, Mace?
Yeah, I think so. It's getting to be too late in the game, and honestly, if you don't see him up there, I would even say by Thursday, because you have a day off. It's another chance to kind of reset here. And then you're just running out of time. This was day 10, and you got 8 days left in this training camp process. So, yeah, it's getting pretty late. But the thing is, they did want Elijah Wilkinson to be the one, and in their minds, he's done enough. It would appear.
He did it last year or something, because I think he just earned the job when Juwan James. I guess was given the job when Juwan James opted out.
It is so weird. And this isn't a knock on him or anything like that, but it is so weird to me, that all this is going on and then Juwan James is just not there. I don't know. It's so weird to me.
Yeah, on the list of things that are weird. I mean, this year it's way down the list, but it is interesting.
It's just, sometimes it just comes into my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, Juwan James is still a Bronco, and then he's just not there. I don't know. I understand it. It's, and everyone has their reasons, but it just keeps coming back around to me. Wow, that really did change things for the Broncos. We would probably be talking about a totally different scenario right now if Juwan James was healthy and blocking out there.
Yeah. Seriously, if he was just an even average tackle, I mean, that's what we're asking from the Broncos right tackle now. If you can be a little below average is kind of what we're saying. If you can be the 20th best tackle, then this Broncos offense is going to be clicking. It's not like we're asking great things from the tackle position.
Not at all. We got another question here from Jai. He says, is there a bubble guy that you guys like or love that may not make the roster? For me, I think it's Levante Bellamy. It's been the guy that we thought we were going to like going into camp. We've liked him during camp. he's probably not going to be on the 53, but I'm sure he's going to be a Bronco. He's got explosiveness. He was super, super productive in college at a small school. But I wrote this yesterday and we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Royce Freeman has done a really good job of holding him off just by being solid. He's kind of just kept Levante Bellamy at bay, and just he's able to pick up blitzes and that sort of things that we know coaches are really in love with. Levante Bellamy struggling in that area, so I think he'll be on the practice squad. But yeah, I'm not going to make the 53.
Yeah, I want to see Josh Watson on the 53, but I think he too could be headed for the practice squad, even though there's a little bit of an opportunity here with both Todd Davis and Justin Stranad out, so he should be getting some more reps. Just whenever I watch Josh Watson, it seems like he's always around the ball, always making plays, always flying around. And if it were my 53, there's a place on the roster for a guy like that.
You guys literally took the two guys I was going to point to. So I have to look at two guys that we've talked about today. Is there a chance Calvin Anderson and or DeMar Dotson don't make the 53? Is there a chance that one of them doesn't?
A chance?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Because Elijah Wilkinson is your backup left tackle. We know that since he was going to be in the competition. Then do you just need one of those guys?
You're going to keep 9 offensive linemen, though, in all likelihood. So you figure 2 interior guys and then 2 tackles. And it becomes a question of saying, all right, which 2 backups are we going to keep? And the way they've been used, and also just the outlook for DeMar Dotson, I'd say the 2 backup tackles are probably going to be Calvin Anderson and DeMar Dotson.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well. Another guy you can point to is Jake Butt. If he stays healthy, there may just be not enough roster spots to keep him. And a healthy Jake Butt, I think we've all wanted to see and all have been excited for. We just haven't been able to see it.
Yeah, but tight end, you've got Button and Troy Fumagalli, who's flashing as well. And Vic Fangio had some nice things to say about Fumagalli after practice. I mean, there could be a tough decision coming there because Andrew Beck is the most versatile backup that you have. And whenever they go with a fullback, on the rare occasions that happens, he's the guy who's out there. But Fumagalli and Butt just keep making plays. And Albert O has a hammerlock on a roster spot because of his draft status. So someone notable is going to be out of the mix at tight end, maybe even 2 guys that Broncos fans know.
Well, and really quick, speaking of tight ends, I asked Nick Vanette after practice about Albert O, about just what he's seen from him. And Nick Vanette literally paused for like 4 seconds. And I thought he was going to say, I'm really impressed you said his name right, because I said the whole last name. And then he said he was blown away by Alberto, blown away. The next question he was asked about Noah Fant and had very good things to say about it. Blown away by Alberto. He said he can be one of the best tight ends in the league if he just continues to develop. He says, man, I don't know where to start. I think he's the real monster. He's just so physically gifted. I mean, he honestly higher praise than Noah Fant.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a show called Real Monsters?
Well, you got a couple of them in that tight end room with him and, of course, Drew calling Nick Vanette a monster.
Well,
dude, there's our shirt, the tight end room, the Real Monsters.
Boy, what did they transform from to become the Real Monsters? What were they the past couple of years?
They were the Monstars when they're all tiny.
And they've developed into the real monsters.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, really, I think this was a good practice. I think a lot came out of it, and I appreciate all the insights, Zach. Thanks for giving them to us. And we are going to wrap it up here, and we'll be over on the podcast segment just in a second. Of course, if you're listening to us, it literally will be a second. But if you're going to listen to the podcast format and you're listening live, it'll be out just a little bit later today. So tune in with us. Make sure to remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, and then consider subscribing to thednvr.com, where you'll get all of the rest of Zach's observations from practice today. But for now, that's going to wrap it up for us today, and we'll talk to you later.